Hello EFD squad and welcome back to Continental Club, where we discuss the hottest topics in European football. Joining me two very hot men. It's Joseph Tomlinson, it's Michael McCubbin. And we're going to start with a question from Manos Rastogi about Belotti. But let's just take a breath before then, because this week it's been quite stressful, hasn't it? You've lost to Van Straten on Stat Wars.
Yes.
We launched the podcast.
Yes.
You're launching a big show on Balls Up on Sunday as well.
Sunday is going to be absolutely brilliant if you enjoy Football Daily and
Sunday
Balls Up
vibes.
content.
Balls Up.
Sunday Vibes. Also, Sunday Vibes Extra Time, our brand new podcast, an hour and a half long of me, Pat, and Chris talking about how we would fix Manchester United. And
Pita bread.
the Balls Up Halloween prank, in which I've never been so terrified in all my life.
Is it spooky?
It's super spooky.
Yeah.
So Sunday's going to be unbelievable, and I'm going to be so hungover from Saturday, I'll probably cry again at the prank.
Yeah, I think the people who follow our Instagram stories quite closely will see exactly why that is on Saturday night as well.
Spoiler: then Mystic Mike might be making an appearance.
hello.
So yeah.
Hello. See, that's
Spooky.
spooky. Your video sounded traumatic. Talking of trauma, you lost to Van Straten on Stat Wars.
Yeah.
How did it feel going up against the favourite for the league title?
Yeah, it was all right. It was actually it was a proper gentleman's match.
Really?
We were very quite supportive of each
Did you
other
bring back
throughout
the
without
class
being.
after the whole Doogie Joe fiasco?
Sorry.
Did you bring back like the class, the
Oh,
decorum?
right.
after
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, completely. We felt like we had to really, kind of reel it back in, take Stat Wars back to its kind of roots, which is a very respectable university challenge style quiz show. So Pat beat me, but I think it was deserved. But it was quite a close game as well. I think we were both on relatively good form. So yeah.
He's pulling out in front at the minute, ominous, but it's getting quite scrappy mid-table. And Tomlinson, me and you, the first match next week on a Thursday.
Oh, well, I've got a match going out this weekend
You have?
against Kieran Carlin.
Next
I
week.
believe that went out last night.
It went out last night?
Yeah.
Did it go out last night?
Yeah, it did.
It
Is
did,
that
yeah.
confirmed? Oh, well, go and check it out if you haven't already, but all I'll say is get in.
I don't think there's
that was
many
good.
spoilers when it comes to Kieran's performance
No,
quiz, but
absolutely disgraceful from Kieran, that was.
very much the referee
Didn't show up.
and not much else. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's start with what happened to Belotti then. I'll give you a bit of context because none of us massive Torino fans.
I mean, I've watched every game this season.
The Bull.
So
Really?
no, I absolutely haven't. I've never watched a Torino
The
game.
Bull and the Rooster. Anyway, so he's still 24. He's 25 in December, but that surprised me to start with because it feels like he's been around for quite some time now. He still has a release clause of 100 million euros. In the competition, 4 places up front at the moment at Torino. Can tell you're interested. He's already yawning. It's between Simone Zaza, who they acquired from Valencia in the summer,
Wow.
and the Rooster himself. Now, started the season quite well. 4 goals in 10. He's having 3 shots per game, 0.6 key passes. They're similar numbers to Icardi McCubbin, which is pretty impressive when you consider Inter taking 16 shots a game, Torino all the way down on 12, which is, as it stands, is currently about the 6th or 7th worst in the league. Now, he came to prominence in that 16-17 season, didn't he, when he bagged 26. Understat, where we get our expected goals information from, suggested that was quite a fortuitous season. Maybe scored 5 more than he should have.
Still good
When we
going.
consider
21
quality
expected
chances,
goals.
very good. When you consider he also got 7 assists that season.
Wow.
But since then, his numbers have been, he's been a bit unlucky. Got 10 last season. Expected goals thinks he should have had 12. He's on 2 this season in the league, that is. 4 in all comps, and Understat thinks he should have 4. Going at a very good rate assist-wise as well, contributing to a goal every 1 in 2 for the last 3 seasons.
That's good.
I still feel like he's a very good striker, but he was linked with Chelsea, Manchester United, AC Milan.
Priced out.
That season. And he actually said, I don't want to warm the bench at a big club. It feels like Torino means an awful lot to him. Would you still take him if you're a European superpower? And how much would you be prepared to shell out on him, Joseph?
No, I wouldn't take him. He's just a bog standard Serie A striker.
Oh,
really.
it's a bit harsh. He's a good player. Got quite a good skill set.
Yeah.
Powerful.
I mean, he's okay.
powerful.
He's
Good
okay. He
dribbler.
did have one exceptional season, but so did Michu. Look,
Michu had like a third of a season.
Slap
no,
that. man.
Michu banged 20 in, I think, in the Premier League
And
in
ended
one
up
season.
in the Spanish 4th division playing for his brother.
You know, I wouldn't be paying anywhere near the release clause, that's for sure. In fact, if you
agree
could
with
get him for around 25, 30, then fair enough. But I just don't. There's no
I think
reason
you
for
could pay-
Torino to sell.
I think you could pay 50 million for him.
50 mil for Belotti.
I think, yeah, for sure. Like, I think you'd want another season where he scored at least 15 league goals, wouldn't you? Because I think that's the main concern.
But then he's going to be
consistency.
26 then, and he's, I mean, you're
Yeah, but
signing
I mean,
a player from mid-table
yeah,
mediocrity for 50 million, who's only scored 15 and 20.
50 million isn't that much these days, is it?
Many other
For a
players,
striker.
I think, with his skill set, the weapons he has at his disposal. Good dribbler, powerful, quite creative.
Ridiculously good in the air as well.
Very good in the air, and if he's contributing into a goal-shy Torino every 1 in 2 games, and the stat has him contributing at 0.5 per 90 this season, then chances are his numbers are going to experience a significant bump at a bigger club. I think he's maybe become a little bit like Milinkovic-Savic, a bit of a victim of his triple-digit price tag that was heavily circulated beforehand.
That's Torino's fault, man. Torino priced him out of a move in 2017. Everybody wanted him or was interested in him, sniffing around. They went, 100 million. And now everybody's like, piss off, Torino. Who do you think you are trying to get 100 million out of us when 1 year later, Chelsea are signing Morata for the same price?
It was that same summer,
point.
actually, I'm pretty sure. Like, and yeah, considering that United spent what we spent, 75 mil on Lukaku. That
Who'd
same
scored
summer.
over 100 Premier League goals.
Yeah, and he'd been like really pretty consistent for about 4 seasons at the same age. Like,
absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Simone Zaza had a pretty decent season at Torino last year, Valencia last year, didn't he? So the fact that he's competing with Zaza for a place, and we've all seen Zaza in the Premier League. I mean, and not to be harsh on the lad, but let's just rein it back in. I mean, I always personally think if Juventus aren't interested in him from Serie A, it's not worth signing.
Good scout in there. Lazy but probably effective. This brings us to my kind of where I want this question to go, which is, which wonder kid did you really think was going to make it at the very top level, had a good season in the same way that Belotti did, not just a good season, a very, very good season, went supernova for a year, and you were like, he's the one. I want him to make it, I like him, and they never did. Doesn't necessarily have to fit all the criteria I've just said, but McCubbin, lead the charge, because I imagine you're a man with a lot of niche football knowledge, well I know you are, but I imagine you've liked a lot of niche players.
Yeah, mainly because I was kind of a bit more geeky about it back in the mid 2000s, you know, like us all. But now there's a few, and it is mainly strikers, I think, because I think back then you kind of do, you know, you focus on the kind of goals records and stuff. And there's a few. I mean, if you want to get like really into it, like someone like Patrick Kluivert was scored winner in the Champions League final when he was 18.
Was it 9? 18.
I think he was 18. And then obviously went to Barca. I remember him being one of my favourite strikers when it was at Barca. Like even in like 2002, 2003, I was still kind of liked him, but it was clear even by then that he'd regressed.
The Dutch Michael Owen. He ended up at Newcastle after being at one half.
And it was
of
awful. And then as soon as he, I mean, of course injuries had a part to play as well. But you know, yeah, as soon as he went to Newcastle, it was suddenly like he really was
playing for the money.
Terrible.
Overweight.
And he was only, I'm sure he would have only been about 26, 27, maybe 28 by then. But like, yeah, I think the main one though, like Mateo Kezman. He was kind of similarly to Belotti, but I mean, it actually, like, even more so than Belotti, had an amazing scoring record at PSV. I think he might have actually had more goals than games at PSV, something like, or if it was around, I think he was around 120 goals for PSV and was around 120 games for PSV.
He'd definitely done it for 3-4 seasons in a row, hadn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was something like he scored 172 goals in his first 5 seasons as a full kind of professional senior player, and then over the next 8 scored 59. And it's actually amazing because even despite that, he still managed to get a good career out of it. Went to Chelsea for like 5 mil, I think it was in 2004, and everyone kind of thought he was going to bang like more so than Drogba. And then like failed at Chelsea, but then still managed to get a move to Atleti. Still managed to play for PSG. There's a couple of other teams in there.
Played for PSG.
Plays for PSG as well. Yeah, I think he played for PSG around the time that they started to get taken over. But anyway, yeah, I think that's a career that, you know, he was very much just like an out and out goal scorer. Had such an eye for goal, and for whatever reason, that move to Chelsea just killed him.
Joe, got anyone on a par with
I'm
Kesman? That was a pretty good answer.
I'm thinking more recent. I'm thinking kind of people that have arrived in the Premier League with a lot of hype around them. I'm immediately thinking Lazar Markovic.
Yeah.
When he joined Liverpool, I remember being touted as one of the premier wonderkids in world football.
He was.
Benfica.
Listen,
he was unbelievable.
Sometimes
there.
Brendan gets it right. Sometimes he gets it horribly wrong.
But I don't even know whether it's Brendan. There was a lot of people, I remember
Brendan,
when that
yeah,
happened
sure,
though. I remember there was a lot of people saying, this is an unbelievable player. And where is he now? Is he still on loan at Hull?
Well,
has he gone to Liverpool?
Fenerbahce, I think he's back at Liverpool. I don't think they can flog him.
Oh, really? Well, he arrived for a fairly, not so small
20.
amount of money
Yeah.
either, back when it first happened anyway, I seem to remember.
But it wasn't even that long ago. It was probably only about 3 years ago. I think he was. You know what? I feel like it might actually have been under Klopp. But anyway, sorry.
A couple of others, maybe disappointing ones that I remember arriving. I remember being quite disappointed by Robinho.
At Manchester City?
At Man City.
Of course,
more
he
so
had a
the Premier
great
League,
first season,
because I
didn't he?
loved him at Real Madrid. He was one of my favourite players, particularly. I remember back to that sort of time, always thinking, who do I want to play as on FIFA? And Robinho was one of my favourite players at Madrid. And when he arrived at City, first of all, I was gutted he'd gone to City. And then I remember the comical interview saying he thought he'd join Chelsea. And he had actually a decent first season, I think. I think he was okay. And then it just petered into non-existence, really, didn't it there? For Man United,
There's
though...
some funny anecdotes about Robinho at City. I can't remember. I think it might have been Craig Bellamy or another City player who said, like, Alano was exclusively, like, Robinho's hype man when Alano arrived at Manchester City. Like, if you wanted to speak to Robinho, you had to go through Alano.
That's true.
It sounded fucking comical.
That's crazy.
Go on, Man United.
One from a duo from Man United. I was really disappointed by how Raphael and Fabio turned out.
Yeah.
Don't know, there was just like, that was a sort of, wow, we've got bloody identical twins who play as both fullbacks. This is the dream.
The new Nevilles.
You know, Raphael's actually he's having a pretty decent career now. He's at Lyon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Cardiff, Lyon.
I think Raphael more so than Fabio. Fabio's having fallen off a cliff. Whereas Raphael is actually doing bits
But I
in League, I
remember
think.
Fergie saying about Raphael, sometimes you're uncertain and sometimes you just know. Now, that's not verbatim, but Fergie, when he says something like that, you kind of think this guy's got to make it.
Well, let's not also forget he did say Phil Jones was the next Duncan Edwards.
Yeah.
So
I feel like as well though, I feel like Fabio was actually the one who was rated higher,
Better, yeah.
but because Evra had that left back berth down, it was Raphael who just got more chances.
And
just
injuries,
because
right?
right back was a weaker position.
yeah, they both picked up a few
like
injuries.
the left back version of one of them.
Yeah,
Fabio was always injured.
Go on, you got any to bring to the
Have
table?
I got any? Disappointments. I've got a similar answer to McCubbin. Saviola. I was, for one reason or another, I think it's Football Manager, a massive fan of Saviola. And I think it's probably because of his time at, well, both Barcelona and Real Madrid. I remember thinking when I was young, if you've played for both of those clubs, you must be a baller.
Yeah.
And, you know, arriving from South America, it's sort of like, he was like the
He was a proper wonderkid as well. I swear he was like Copa Libertadores top scorer or something.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
River
Like
Plate.
18
He was
or
absolutely
something, like,
ridiculous,
crazy,
wasn't he? He did the whole kind of Messi journey pre-Messi, and ultimately his career not petered out. That's harsh. He had a respectable career at the likes of Sevilla. I'm not sure if he actually banged there or not. But yeah, people like Saviola at Celtic. Because you did Manchester United, is there anyone that's really disappointed?
There must have been a couple.
I remember thinking Thomas Gravesen. I thought he'd be a good addition coming from Real Madrid, and he was absolutely awful. Yuri Jarozic from Chelsea.
Surely there's a few youngsters who brought in on loan.
Exclusively Champions League football. Masonda last season was really disappointing, wasn't he? I say wasn't he, like you two were keeping up with him. You definitely weren't. But you have to take my word for it. But we want to know yours because I've ran out, so the tank is empty. Let us know your players that you love that never really hit the big time in the comments below. Moving on to quick fire questions then, gentlemen, before our big match preview. First one's from David is Dope, and he said, where should Hannes go after his loan spell at Bayern is finished? Now, they do have an option to Bayern. I believe he's cost in the region of 14 to 16 million euros to loan for 2 seasons, and they can exercise the right to buy for around 42 million euros. And his numbers have been exceptional during his time in Germany. He was great under Ancelotti. This season, experienced a bit more rotation, much to his chagrin under Kovac, and his voice as much in recent weeks. So not a happy bunny. That might be why David is Dope has tweeted this in. But where do you think he should go? Should he go back to Real Madrid? Would he be welcome for the doors of the Bernabeu, Joe?
I think he'd be welcomed. I don't think personally for him it'd be a particularly good move, particularly with Isco available to play in that role, Asensio who can drop in there, Kovacic might be pushed further forward when he joins again from Chelsea. So I think it's a pretty stacked roster at 10 for Real Madrid. I would potentially, if I was James, I'd put the feelers out to a club like Liverpool.
Ooh.
I think Liverpool are still chasing that.
They don't really play a 10 though, do they?
No, they don't, but in the same way they were after Fekir and the same way Lallana plays when he's fit and they utilise Coutinho, I think that inside forward, kind of more of a midfielder than a 10, works for Klopp. He's tried to sign Fekir last summer, clearly wants a player in that mould, and I think James fits the bill quite nicely. Doesn't dribble as much as Fekir, but would be really creative against the smaller teams and would allow the likes of Salah and Mane and Firmino to play a little bit further forward against the smaller teams, and he can just pick the pockets in the little gaps they create. So I think
Shaqiri was
Liverpool will be a
sort of doing
decent
that against
Yeah.
Red Star
Yeah,
Belgrade,
yeah.
so maybe
Let's just not come. Yeah, I mean,
he could come
he's-
in for Shaqiri.
He's just a massive upgrade on the player like Shaqiri, isn't he? And he just offers another weapon going forward for Jurgen Klopp. I
It'd be
think
great
it'd
to
be
see
a good
him
move.
in the Premier League for sure.
Yeah,
The Cubs.
definitely. I mean, personally, I think he should just set Bayern, to be honest. He's clearly like fitted in well there. But if he were to move, I mean, maybe go to Italy, maybe join Ancelotti at Napoli. I think he'd obviously
Ooh,
really enjoy himself.
Nice.
playing
That
at
could be
Napoli.
the title.
But yeah, obviously, they don't have the money.
Money,
Yeah, of course.
money. Can't afford it.
Yeah, of course.
Sell
But like, in
Koulibaly.
an ideal world, I reckon that would be quite a entertaining thing to see.
That really would. I suppose, again, what's Ancelotti playing at Napoli? A 4-3-3? Traditionally plays 4-3-3, doesn't he? Maybe not room in there for a number 10, but could play out wide. He's been playing in a number of positions for Bayern. I think it's probably good enough, yeah, to reinvent himself, even at this point in his career. Okay, where could I see him going? No, I think two good answers from you guys. Let's move on. These are supposed to be quickfire, aren't they? So, Carlos V has asked, where will Hirving Lozano land after this season? So, of course, had a great season, debut season at PSV last year, contributing to around 30 goals in total, I believe, completing insane dribble numbers, cross numbers, key passes. He ticks all the who scored and understat boxes. And Jahan Bash got a move to Brighton with similar numbers. I think maybe going back to what we were saying about Belotti, I think there'll be a lot of clubs waiting to see how he fares again this season, to see if he can replicate that form and to see if he can do it in the Champions League. And of course, he's made a very good start. Scored against Spurs, was scoring quite freely in qualification because I believe PSV had to navigate the qualification round. So yeah, he started the season like he means it, let's say.
Yeah.
And where could you see him going? Much in the same vein as James, if he continues to bang.
For me, I don't think he's quite at the level of a Bayern Munich or Juventus picking him up. I can see him getting snapped up by a club like Monaco in a similar method, the way they picked up Yuri Tielemans and the way they picked up Golovin. I can see a Monaco picking him up. If Borussia Dortmund do lose one of those young wingers this summer to a bigger club, I'm thinking if they can't keep hold of Pulisic, if they can't keep hold of a Pulisic this summer for one more year, or if Royce picks up another significant injury towards the back end of the season, I can see a club like Borussia Dortmund moving in for him. But don't discount, maybe discount Roma, you know. It's very much a Monchi signing, and I would have said Roma had they not bought Kluivert in.
And they've got Unda and they've got Stick. Yeah. So yeah.
I'll go Monaco or Dortmund.
Schick, Patrick Schick. Did I just call him Stick? Anyway.
No,
moving
that's
on.
a trick. Yeah, I'd probably have to agree, to be honest. Dortmund probably, but they do still have such an array of talent going forward, Dortmund. But yeah, I feel like that's where he was fit best. As for it's hard to, I can't imagine like a Premier League club for some reason going in for him, because Man City were in for him initially, weren't they? Before he went to PSV.
Link with him. When he moved from Mexico.
and even United were a bit in the summer, but for whatever reasons, those moves didn't really come to materialise. And I guess there's probably a reason for that.
I mean, if Spurs were to sign him, he definitely would be. It wouldn't be any more of a gamble than like an NG or an Nkudu that they've signed, albeit he would cost a lot more money.
Not sure they need him.
Eredivisie clubs tend to, I mean, they don't get an awful lot for the players. I'm guessing you could prize them away from PSV for 30 to 40 at this point, and they'd be fairly happy with that. Saying that, but aren't Frenkie de Jong and De Ligt being linked with Barcelona for about a combined 140 million?
Maybe Lyon
Different
as well,
case,
you know.
but-
Maybe Lyon. I think Lyon are going to lose one of their forwards this summer, whether it be Memphis or Fekir. I can't see them keeping both of them.
Yeah.
And wouldn't be the worst option for them as a replacement.
Wouldn't link up play quite as well as either one of those players, would it? Tends to hover on that left-hand side, but I think they're three good candidates. Anyway, this is a little bit more personal. Now, we've asked personal questions from Continental Club because they're exclusively on Sunday Vibes now, but Meath Hander has tweeted in a blessing in disguise moment / event in your life. And this one is a thinker. I can both see your faces. I'm buying some time now. Yes, we don't rehearse this. We go into it quite cold. A blessing in disguise moment. So,
Do you want to kick us off? Have you got one planned?
I haven't. You'd have thought so, having picked this question.
Yeah.
McCubs, anything spring to mind?
I'm not right now.
Oh,
It's a
man.
real thinker.
I've thrown us under the bus here big time.
Yeah.
I've derailed the momentum. All right, blessing in disguise moment. Ooh, quitting my first job and actually spending all my money going to New York. I've kind of told this a few times, but we could maybe work this angle into this question. So, I mean, it wasn't the most sensible thing to do at that time, but it meant coming back, being desperate for a job, seeing the job for Football Daily posted on some obscure website called Production Base, and ultimately now I'm, living in London, presenting next to the likes of Michael McCubbin. So life is sweet.
Sweet as.
So yeah, spending all my money and quitting my job quite flippantly. What about you? Please tell me you've come up with something, because
The only thing I can think of really is the fact that when I applied to go to uni, I was supposed to go to Manchester, and that was just my dream, was to live in Manchester. Obviously, Man United, loved all the music history there as well, and I didn't get in, and I was distraught. But my backup was Liverpool, and then I ended up just making loads of great friends. You know what I mean? It was just like one of those things that I even if I'd got into my first choice, even though I would have loved it there, just the probability of me making as many good friends there is quite low, I think.
Did you feel like this happened for a reason?
Yeah, in some ways,
I'll buy you a bit more time, because that's kind of stirred enough one in me. I was supposed to go to university with my mate Jack, and we picked a shared room because it was cheaper. And we were like, we're both definitely going to get the grades. We're definitely in. Nothing can go wrong with this scenario. Jack didn't get in, so I had to share a room with a complete stranger on day one. So
you shared a room?
Let me explain the dynamic of the shared room. You share a middle portion, and then you have a very tiny bedroom with a door on the end of the room.
Okay.
So you can seclude yourself, but equally you're sharing a living space as opposed to having a bigger room to yourself, which could have gone fucking horribly wrong. Got there, the guy who I was sharing with wasn't there, because little known to me, he was a Man United fan, a massive football fan, which obviously helped in the long run, but he'd gone to watch Manchester United. So I got there, I was by myself, the anticipation was building. He rolled through the door, he was like, oh, I've just been watching football. I was like, good start. He loved Arctic Monkeys. We had that in common straight away, and within weeks we were bezies. And I couldn't really have gone any sweeter. Sean, if you're watching,
did you build a little Alex Turner shrine in the
we both just grew our hair just to inexplicable lengths and just had Suck It and See the album on repeat whilst playing stupid amounts of FIFA. I had also had a toasty maker that I've got to say was pretty iconic. Must have saw a lot of toasters in that room. So Joe, please tell me you thought of something in that time.
I have got nothing.
Oh, you joking me?
Watch Balls Up on Sunday for the blessing in disguise, mate.
I mean, what was
you
the
never
blessing
know
in disguise there? That was just horrible.
Right, fair enough. Let's move on then. This one a little bit easy to answer before our big match preview. Who makes it into your top 5 Premier League strikers? Nice and quickly. Joe, a bit more energy, please. Stop your yawning. Act like you want to be here.
Rooney, Henry, Shearer, Kane, Aguero.
It's hard to argue. Rooney, Henry, Aguero and Shearer definitely in there. Kane.
Kane and Van Nistelrooy pretty tough. Oh,
Yeah.
Van Persie.
Ooh, no, I might say Van Nistelrooy actually. Or like there's someone else. There's someone else in there. I'm forgetting. There's someone, I don't know, yeah.
Andy Cole,
Andy Cole,
Solskjaer, Les Ferdinand. No, I think 2 good answers from you. Let's move on to our big match preview then, which is Napoli versus Roma. Let me give you a bit of context, gentlemen. So Insigne is a doubt for this one. It's at the San Paolo. Mertens, though, in good form, 4 goals in 5. Gulam, the left back, who's been out for 18 months.
Back,
we loved
baby.
him.
He's back.
He is back in a big way. He was crucial to the way they were playing under Sarri. He was a massive loss. I think they had to play Haisaj at left back, and he was just kind of a bit more militant. Hadn't really clocked up many games beforehand either. Pastore for Roma is out, as is Perotti and Kluivert. Napoli, though, scoring 2.6 goals on average at home in their last 10 games. So, and they've won 8 in the process and kept 3 clean sheets. Might be a bit of a tall order for Roma. Do you boys know anything about Roma this season? Been watching them? Anything to...
They beat Lazio, didn't they? But apart from that, they've been relatively poor in the league. Lost to Milan, lost to Spal last weekend, was it?
Horrible result.
So, yeah, I mean, you'd fancy Napoli for this.
Yeah, Napoli are definitely going to win this. I thought Napoli were absolutely superb against PSG midweek. The fullbacks caused all sorts of problems for PSG central defenders as well, just by putting those early crosses in. And I think you'll see, if Gulam is fit, I doubt he'll start Gulam. I think you'll probably see him on the bench coming in at about 60, 70 minutes if they want to force him in. But he might not even play. He might just be a bench option here for them as they look to ease him back in. But I think Napoli are going to have way too much firepower, although Lorenzo Insigne is a doubt, isn't he? Which means Dries Mertens, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him. He is in good form. I think he's been involved in 4 goals in his last 5 games for club and country. So there's a lot of pressure on him, but I fancy Napoli to blow Roma away under Carlo Ancelotti. Just too much firepower, too good at the back. Yeah, Roma, not good enough in the league.
Feels like Roma are really missing Nainggolan this season. Yeah, and that's probably all I have to add. I think I'm going to go for, 3-1 Napoli victory as well. Need them to keep challenging at the top of the table with Juventus, don't we? Because they're in danger of running away with it. That's it for this week. That's Continental Club. A hastily thrown together Continental Club for your viewing pleasure. Gentlemen, what else should Team FD, EFD squad, all the above do? McCubbin, after this, you're working on a new learning vlog, right? When
I am. That
should
hopefully be out next weekend. So, still working on that. We'll keep you posted. In the meantime, why not check out Stat Wars, the league? I know you already are probably because, it's just popping off, isn't it? But tomorrow is Doogie versus Zach. You probably think that Doogie's going to win, but what can I say? And either way, it's very entertaining because they're two very, very entertaining on screen. Joe, what do you?
That's spooky. Sunday is the big day, I think, for Football Day. The new podcast drops, so make sure you tune into that. Sunday Vibes as well is coming out, so it's 2 hours, 10 minutes of Sunday Vibes content on the weekend. And the
hence
Balls
why
Up
no one did
Halloween
any research on
special.
Torino.
Yeah, and the Balls Up Halloween special, genuinely one of the best videos I've ever been involved in, and the worst. But you'll see on Sunday as to why. It's ridiculous. Tune in.
So long.